Hello, my name is George Velocic, and today I'm going to be going over my app, which is Roade, a Bikeshare app using the PHP web language. What we're looking at right now is we're looking at the index page, which is actually just going to be where I included the database, register, login, and search functions form. Search functions is where I utilized my object-oriented programming with class and city. More could have been implemented in here. I'm working on kind of getting everything moved over into an encapsulated format. As you can see right here, some of this is commented out because I utilized, instead of, say, using the join to create a table, instead I utilized it in a div format for optimization and responsiveness purposes for when I look into doing media queries and different breakpoints. So let's look at the web page here. This is the little splash page with a login and a register. And as you see right here, if I'm going to go Hillary Rodham Clinton, for instance, or let's just say B. Obama, Barack Obama, password 12345 to register. That'll just bring us right back to the index page, so that way we can go ahead and log in. So, using that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Will bring us to the portal page. And you can always go back to the login and register page. I'm going to log in with my credentials right here. Okay. In this code, it will be in register. So this was one part that I thought was actually relatively easy in terms of making the login system. I know there's a lot more that I can do in terms of making sure it is a lot more safe, or having different parameters set up in case like different mistakes, i.e. like pop-ups or something saying like enter a valid username, password, etc. But this is just a simple and bare bones. I chose for placeholders, instead of using question marks here, I did use the colon method. I prefer the question mark method as well, but sometimes when the queries get really long for MySQL, in terms of the prepared statements, I can see myself making a lot of mistakes. So if is set post register username, if it's not empty, trim it down, post username. And again, this is a prepared statement, so we're going to bind the values to after we prepare it, and then we execute the statement, and it's going to fetch the associative array and a PDO. And what it's going to do here is it's going to count if anything in the row for a user count. If it's greater than 0, that means something matches, so the username's already taken, and it'll kill it. Password hash is so that way it's encrypted, it's a little more safe, and then if all things are considered good, it will insert it in. And then here's the header redirection and the echo statement if it is a positive result. Very similar with the login page as well. If it's set post login, it'll go and check everything, bind the values. If user is false, then it'll kill it. However, if it's a valid password and everything works, the session will be started. And again, I had to use where the login session start here in order to start a session. Moving on to another page here, I do have the Roade main page. This was something I was really happy with, the way that it came out. This is where I utilized Ajax as well as creating the search engine. So far, I only have Denver and Dallas in the system, but as you can see, if I go ahead and type the D, it'll bring up the first response, which is Dallas, add the E, Denver. And I also put in a little bit of code with jQuery, JavaScript, to make it to where as it shut, it doesn't overlap and it disappears. And we'll look at that one. Page 4. I included the search functions again, the OOP, and then the database and city list. I guess I should look at the database real quick. Very simple, the simple PDO object that you taught us to create. Here, very simple with a lot of a bootstrap interface and using containers, etc., and the flex method on other pages. You can see right here, here are my echo statements for calling the classes and their respective encapsulated functions. How it works section wasn't really completely made out, but it wasn't really necessary, I guess, because that was more for, I guess, more of like a front end thing, and I should have focused more on the other stuff to begin with. So, as you can see, all these calls are going through right here. The main bread and butter here are the search functions. And autocomplete here. This is where it's Ajax, JavaScript, and jQuery used, leveraged Ajax here, sorry. So the function begins and the document's ready from there, from a key up. Whenever I press the key like DAL, AS for instance, typing in there, it's going to start running this. Here are the necessary parameters right here. So the URL, the data, which keyword equals this value, the value that's in there, the type, it's a post type. Now the before send and then upon success right here. This right here I just cleared them all to none. So that way there was no like white, no nothing. So that way it was transparent. And then after that I added something for suggested, which was added in later, and I added some CSS with the background of a background color to go ahead and match the actual search input. And then right here I tried to use a blur function, but I was having issues to where it wasn't like console log wasn't working and nothing was really happening. So I made a fix here, remove search, and I had to use jQuery because it's something that's being created after the fact, after the document loads. So upon mouse leave for the search bar, the city list will set the timeout and then it'll remove it. So moving on to another page. So if we find a fleet near you, oh, this was something cool too. Making like a nice little background SVG looking footer. So let's go to Dallas. So what happens here is this is all getting called through PHP. So this right here, Dallas, Texas. So this is all in the actual database, the nickname, the state, and the city. And then this is all getting called into via different divs with all the different information on the actual vehicles. And these will only be loaded in if they are a part of the fleet for that respective city. So, for instance, we do have here the cities that I have in there: Dallas, Denver, State, Texas, and the nickname that you saw called there, and the background was this blob image in the file. The fleet is the city ID, and then the ID and the vehicle ID. And if you want to look up here at the structure, we have two secondary keys and then a primary key. And then the vehicles that are used to populate that, that's like the in-between point, the fleets, because it's an all-to-all relationship. We need somewhere for them to meet, and then we need something to, otherwise there would be duplicates and it wouldn't work. So then we have the ID, name, picture, speed, year, and everything that you saw there in those divs. Other than that, you can go ahead, go to an update or delete, and as you can see right here, depending on what it is, it has a different call function. Spits out the state, spits out the city, spits out all that. And the bicycle table right there on bikes, if you go back to search functions, it'll be in there to where it does an echo statement to call that ID number. If we go back, go ahead and say, for instance, click update, it'll go ahead and upload everything that was in the fleet right here, and you can go ahead and modify any of these and then go ahead and submit it. If you do go ahead and do a delete, I'm not going to go through it right now, so that way you have stuff to tinker with. But if you go ahead and hit the delete, it will send you to another page called delete_confirm.php, which if it does, it's just this footer right now, but it'll pop up an H1 right here that'll say it was updated successfully. So again, thank you. If you have any other questions, just go ahead and look through my documentation and comments, or you can feel free to email me. Thank you.